Well, here's the Flex radio all apart. I contacted the previous owner of this radio today and was wondering what the history of it was. The previous owner pretty much gave up on it and said it wouldn't boot, and he threw it into a recycle bin. So anyway, then some idiot in California gets it and puts it on eBay and sells it to me for a bloody fortune. So I feel really ripped off. At any rate, this thing doesn't work right, so I took out the, this will be the filter board for the transmitter. There's not much in this thing, really. It's well done. It's hard to work on, that's for sure. Taking it apart's horrendous, so. This previous owner told me that he had 2 fans in it, but I'm not sure why he had 2 fans in it. The guy ran FT8, which really burns up the transmitter. So anyway, this plug's a real cluster F. So when you get these things and they have low transmit because the voltage goes down to nothing, it looks like this is in mode a little bit. I would really like to get a new plug from Flex and just solder it on here, but at any rate, there's the transmitter board, and that little plug solders onto there. I wouldn't mind just heating up those joints and putting some solder on there. I took the fuse out and cleaned it up. I really should probably take this board out of here and inspect the bottom for problems. I don't even know if I could get to the bottom of the board. It doesn't seem like these boards are even all that friendly on the bottom. This one, like, here's this board, you know, it's constructed with, you know, really thick multi-wafer stuff. So I'm thinking this transmit board might be the same way. So what are these guys doing for transmitting here anyway? What do they got? So this is a 2005, 7-year-old board by now. They're using, looks like Mitsubishi parts in there. So how are these things even heat sunk to what? Well, obviously the fan blows in here. At any rate, it's a clean looking transmitter board. It's light, that's for sure. There's not much heat sink in this thing. So my objective now is to, I wish I could replace this stupid connector. I just want to heat these up. Make sure these aren't going bad. I took the fuse out and cleaned it up. It looked pretty shaky actually. But if you look at this connector closely, looks like it's been toasted. And that's where the heat and voltage drop are happening. So I scraped those connectors clean, but I really should get a new connector from Flex. So yeah, to get down to that board is a pain in the royal behind. So you got to pull this one off. And getting this board out isn't easy. It kind of gets hung up. So you got to pull this fan out to get the wire out of the way for that. And then these 2 little connectors get stuck in those holes. When you're trying to pull it back, it's like it's stuck on something. So you can get this board out, but you really got to wiggle it carefully. I'm not impressed by I'm impressed by the board, but I'm not impressed how they have these things jammed on there. So if they want an RF connection, and this is your output, right? So they're relying on circuit board transit of all the RF, which is kind of stupid. But to get the ground of this thing, the board goes through that top peg there. It goes into the chassis. Isn't that going to make like RF ground loops and stuff and just trouble? I don't know. So anyway, I am tempted to Since these are just sticking up into nowhere, they're not bolted, I'm tempted to solder a wire on these. It would probably void the warranty, but there's no warranty left anyway. And that would probably give it some more resolute RF. But am I impressed by the Flex? I'm impressed by how there's not too many components. And I like how it works, but I don't like how these boards are mounted in here. I guess they're fine. And there's 2 fans in this thing. The guy said I don't know, he put in 2 fans. He didn't have a clear reason why he did it. It comes with 1 fan, and it has connectors for 2 fans. So if I detach the other one, what's it gonna do? I did buy new fans for this thing, and I guess I'm gonna put my new fans in. This one seems all right, but it's a little noisy. Anyway, so how can I improve the RF flow through here? So I'm going to think that it has RF going out through here and through the case. So if I ran a wire from here to, where could I get a decent ground? I could there, but that's being used. The only other point to ground it would be onto one of these on the bottom. I'm not sure I really want to do that. I don't see any other place to get a ground. And then would that roast these things? I guess I'll leave it the way it is. So they do have these rivets in here, which is like, holy crap, that's cheap. You think you could put a screw in here, right? And are these relying on ground? They don't even look like they are. Damn it. They don't even look like they're grounded. Just mechanical. Okay, so interestingly then, the screws that go in here don't even attach to the case. They just go through, and they cinch this up to the case. And the case is grounded. I don't really think that these are grounded here. And I can't find a way that I could solder those to make them any better, so ignore them. Sometimes you can't improve a mousetrap because it's a pretty good mousetrap the way it is. All right, anyway, I'm rambling. So how can I improve this radio? I could try and take this board out and look at the bottom of it. I can't get to the bottom of the board because they have it shielded, of course, so it's more work to get it out. So tipping this thing over, yeah, they got a big shield there, and that's part of the case integrally. So, and they got a screw buried down in there. So how am I gonna get that damn screw out? I guess I have to take the standoff off. I guess we're sucking air in through there. So where's the heatsink on this thing anyway? Okay, that's the heatsink. Oh, that's pretty cool, isn't it? So the heatsink is, well done. There's the heatsink for the Flex right there. A little aluminum heatsink, and the fan blows right through there. Well, hats off to them. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Is it dirty and full of crap? No. I guess the guy that had this was a pretty clean guy. All right, so the way forward might be I dump some solder onto these two here. I want to get the soldering iron and I want to bend that plastic back on this thing with some heat so it provides a little bit of support. So let's go over again how this plug goes in here and see if it makes any sense or not. I didn't like this plug, but anyway. Line up the colors. Goes in like that. Does that make sense though? If I put it in all the way, does it go in all the way? Yeah, it does. All right, so it does seem pretty darn good. It does seem like it's kind of melted to one side, doesn't it? Like it's crooked or cockeyed or something. So why is it cockeyed? It is, isn't it? Could that be from heat? So examine this down here. Yeah, look at that. So you can see where the black one, the ground was abused a bit. Looks like it's popped away from pressure. So maybe I'll try to push those terminals out a bit. All right, that's what I'm gonna do. And then I'll put this thing back together. See if it'll transmit or load. Maybe I'll take one of the fans out or something. Not sure why it has to have two fans, but it has two connectors for two fans. So there's connector one for that fan. That's for the one that comes with it. And then it has this other connector here where the other fan was. Was that it right there? Looks like it has a bunch of connectors for fans, doesn't it? Like a 4-banger. Here's a little 3-banger. And that goes right there. So what does that really do? Can't say that I know. There's the SD card sitting there. I guess you pull it out toward the CPU processor. Yeah, they did a good job manufacturing this thing, didn't they? It's a pretty amazing little rig-a-roo. So let's take a look at the processor in there. So it's in there with a little top hat. And what's all that junk in there? Lights or something? Or what is it all? What's all that stuff? That is connectors. Wow. Okay. Wonder what that processor gets. I don't know. All right. Well, anyway, that's my adventures into the Flex world. If you get an automatic antenna tuner for this thing, from what I've seen from the Flex book, that just will bolt on standoffs here. So you're going from standoffs to standoffs. That's how they do it. All right. Time to put it back together. So now I know the history of my Flex radio. It came from a junk pile. It came from a recycle bin, and some idiot on eBay picked it up and ripped me off for it. Lovely. Have a nice day.